Hey, I'm getting ready to do a pick a card reading, so I figured I'd do my makeup on camera, like my headband to get my hair out of my face, because it's all crazy and like at that in-between stage of growing. And I got a couple things to talk about. Something pretty interesting when it comes to different kind of cards and how you can tell whether or not you're getting actual cards when you're buying online. So we'll talk about that, but I'll try to leave some notes on what I'm using in the description box below, as they say on all those beauty channels. I'm just gonna do this before I film the pick a cards before we head back to school. I am no beauty guru. I just kind of throw makeup on, kind of old school. I use my fingers a lot. In addition to brushes, I tried using a beauty blender a lot, but then I was like cleaning that thing and it did really work well, but my fingers work better. I don't know. It's a pain. Plus, I don't use a ton of foundation. I use concealer mostly more than foundation. So I guess if I was using foundation a lot, I would reach for the sponge. So that makes more sense. I go in with my eyes first because I am messy. Messy. So, but in addition to loving makeup, I have a bad addiction when it comes to buying cards, Oracle and Tarot cards. And it can get expensive. And most people are like always looking for a deal. And you can, usually find one. And obviously, I think that most people know if you're getting something on AliExpress or Wish or anything like that, you're probably gonna get something that's knocked off from China. And you kind of know what you're getting into at that point in time. But there's a lot of sellers getting online now on like Facebook pages, Marketplace, on different groups, on like Mercari, all over online, and even like setting up their own shops, and like even on Etsy, which you would think would be a little bit more reputable, but it's not, where what you're getting, like the old adage is true, if the price sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So unless it says, like if you're getting a deck that usually goes for $30, it's like, oh, it's $10. Unless it says that it's a used deck, it's a good chance that whoever's selling it is selling a whole bunch more that they bought wholesale online from a Chinese reseller of these decks. There's a lot of different ways that you can tell, in addition to the fact that, can you see pictures of, like, do these people have their own pictures of the product, or are they just going off of what's on the main website? Like, are they going off of if it's a Hay House product or any other kind of, are they just going off of the product's website where you're like, this isn't your own, like, what's going on here? Or are they, here's a good example. So this is the Light Seers Tarot. It's Hay House. This is actually from Hay House. I ordered it. It's a very bulky box. You open it this way. And then this was ordered. I ordered it from AliExpress just to see how it came. And it's a, you open it. See, it's a cheap box where, like, feels like it's gonna tear. And look at how thin of a box it is. and it's got a QR code. This is a big thing. These decks tend to come with QR codes because it doesn't have the little booklet that comes in a lot of these fancier. And see the back? That's a big difference. You're going to have the, you know, UPC code versus that QR code. And look at the size difference. So these cards are going to be a lot more small. So that's one way that you can tell online if you can see pictures and they show you the boxes. If it's not a, if the box doesn't look right and it's got that QR code, then you can kind of tell, oh, this isn't the proper, box. And so it's empty. This, it's got nice, and into the gray we follow like 1,000 flickering stars, and there in a sunlight hollow we lose and find what is ours. So a lot of thought went into this packaging. And then you get a nice book, which a lot of people I talk to are like, I don't even use these books, they just stay in the box. It's your own personal. Every reader has their own personal thing. So they're like, it doesn't matter to me whether or not I have the book. I'd rather pay a little less money to not have the book. And that's something for these companies to try to figure out, whether or not they offer an edition without the book. But just look at the size difference with the cards, though. You can tell. And look at the color difference. Look at the black, the depth of black versus the knockoffs. Look at how much thinner. Same amount of cards. Much, much thinner. Because, you know. So the paper's thinner, smaller cards, and it's just not as dark and crisp. I mean, the artwork is still beautiful, as it is with the original. It's just, in my opinion, not as vibrant. It's a little grayed out. And the cards just seem of thinner, cheaper quality. You don't get the full. This box doesn't seem like it's gonna last. Like, so you're probably gonna end up transferring it to a bag or something. But yeah, the QR code on the back does take you to, they say that they have a PDF version of the guide, but it's one thing to buy it when you know what you're buying. Like, I bought it because I wanted to compare. I wanted to see what the difference was. Kind of how they were knocking it off. But it's a whole nother thing when you're buying this and you think that you're getting something off of an Etsy page and you think that you're getting the real thing. Just, you got a deal on it. And that's where it's frustrating for a lot of people, is that they're like, and you don't necessarily know that you didn't get the right thing. You're like, oh, it just is a little thinner and they're tinier cards, like, than what I'm used to when I may have bought regular decks, because these are significantly smaller than the only other deck that's a legitimate deck. But even these cards, this is the Housewives deck that I have, are bigger. They're wider. So these are the smallest deck of cards for tarot cards that I have. And with more and more decks that come out, there's more and more art that is pronounced and has symbolism that readers like to look at to really give an in-depth discussion and insight to their customers, anybody that they're giving a reading for, even themselves. So it really is personal preference. I like to support the artist. I know the money's going to the artist when I buy it from the certified channels. Again, it's a personal opinion. I have the money to be able to do that, and I save up my coins and try not to overspend on my budget, which is hard. It's hard. It's difficult. It's really, really hard. But yeah. So I just thought that I would have a little chit chat about that, and just a couple things to look out for, because it is a growing thing that I'm noticing online. And with that, have a nice day.